Hey everyone, Magnus here. In today's video, we're going to make sure our keys sound as good as possible. Without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so we've got some keys loaded up. We're using the Maverick from the Contact library, and we're also using reverb to make it a little bit more interesting. We're using the Valhalla Vintage Verb. That's the only thing we are using today. We've got some MIDI laid out. Let's listen to it once. By the way, if you recognize this song, let me know in the comments. Let's listen once and then we'll make it sound better. The first thing that I'm going to do is take the root note, duplicate it, and put another one an octave lower. This will create some nice dynamic in your piano. Okay, now I've done this before and I know some of the notes are not exactly on the root, so I'm just going to move them a little bit. Okay, so we've put another root note on and now the piano will sound a lot more dynamic. Let's listen to it. Without the octave lower root note, this is what it would sound like. And with it, so it makes all the difference. Another thing we can do is take the middle note and bump it either an octave up or an octave down. I do this all the time with strings. It creates a nice wider sound. It doesn't fit all the time for keys, but sometimes it can make the keys sound a little bit more interesting. So let's just move it an octave down and listen to it this way. Instead of... Now this part is really important, but we're going to take a better look at our MIDI notes. As you can tell, they are all exactly on beat, they're all the same length, and they also all have the same velocity. So we need to change that. We want to make sure that it sounds natural and good to the human ear. Right now it sounds really robotic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the MIDI notes. I believe you can do this in any DAW, but in Logic we go here to MIDI transform. We go to random velocity. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that it has a random velocity. Now we don't want to go this extreme from 40 to 127. I'm going somewhere between like 70 and 80. Now it all depends on the song you are doing, but you want to make sure it's a little random. So let's just hit select and operate. Actually, one thing that I'm going to do before we do that, I'm going to duplicate so we can listen to before and after. So let's go here. 74, 75, 73. We can also check each individual note. 74, 75, 73, 79. So already now it's a little bit better, but we're going further. We're going to select all again, MIDI transform. We're going to humanize it. What does that mean? It means that we're going to set the MIDI files a little bit off grid, so it won't be as quantized. So we'll go humanize it, and you can, it's up to you how random you want it to be. I want it to be pretty tight, so I'll select anywhere from like 5 to 10. Let's just do 10 for now. Okay, we've done that. So now if we take a look at the MIDI files, you'll see they might be a little bit off grid. A little bit not exactly on the beat. But this can also make this happen, where they are, the notes are collapsing. So sometimes I'll do this manually, or sometimes I'll quantize it and then I'll go in afterwards and change it a little bit. Because we cannot have this happen, at least not in Logic, because it means that this note won't play. So I'll need to move it a little bit. Just to recap a little bit, but we've done 4 things to the MIDI files. Number one is we took the root note and we dropped it by an octave. So we added another MIDI note to the chord. Another thing, we took the middle note and we bumped it up an octave. So now we have 2 extra notes in each chord. This will make the piano a little bit more dynamic and actually sound a little bit better in my opinion. Now the other things that we did, we took all the notes and we made sure the velocity was kind of even but not all the same because we don't want it to sound robotic. And the fourth thing that we did is we made it humanized, meaning that it'll sound like an actual player played it in, a piano player played it in. Now just to top it off, we're going to add some compressor to it. We're going to use the Waves CLA compressor, just add a piano, we'll make it simple. And we're going to add some EQ. Now because I dropped the root note, I want to make sure we're not getting anything under around 150 Hertz. It seems to have worked well for me not to have anything under 150, and also so that we're not messing with the bass frequencies and the kick, and maybe you have beefy guitars or anything like that. So let's listen to it as it is right now. So let's listen to before and after. Sounds a lot more interesting. I really hope you found these tips helpful and can use them in your own productions. I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button on my channel and like this video. Until next time, peace out.